So how do you beat distraction while you're praying? I mean, how can you stay focused? It seems like there's so many things that want to battle for our attention, and we sit down to pray with the best of intentions, and then our mind starts thinking about work, our mind starts thinking about dinner, or anything almost comes into our mind just to try to distract us from our time with God. And is there any way that we can focus better? Well, in today's video, I want to share with you 5 tips on how to stay focused during prayer. My name's Pastor Addison Smith, and I began Everything Church Pro about 2 years ago with one goal in mind: to help you and others study the Bible like never before, to be able to jump into the Bible and study out those juicy nuggets for yourself. And so if that's interesting to you, make sure you hit the subscribe button below and join this growing community. Also, if you're in the Grants Pass area, I would love for you to visit our church that we just planted last year, coming up on our 1-year anniversary, Grants Pass Baptist Church. But let's jump right in to the delicious tips for staying focused during prayer. Tip number 1 is this: have longer seasons of prayer. Have longer seasons of prayer. You say, wait, I'm having trouble focusing already, and you're wanting me to have longer seasons? What I've realized in my own journey of prayer is that the first few minutes are the hardest. I remember growing up probably praying mostly just for my food, and then a couple times, throughout the day, maybe before bed or for other things. But as I grew and as I even entered into ministry, I had to pray for longer periods of time because there's more to pray for, but also it was a requirement on me as a beginning minister. You got to spend more time in prayer, and that's a good thing. We should spend a lot of time in prayer. But I remember when I first started praying for longer seasons, that those first few minutes were the hardest. Minute 1, minute 2, our minds are still coming off of everything that we've been doing. But what was amazing was minute 5, minute 6, my mind began to be able to focus more and more. And I remember as a youth pastor, I would take my teenagers and I would have them pray, and I would have 10 minutes, just 10 minutes blocked off. And for those first few minutes, I would hear fidgeting in the room. I'd hear a lot of things going on. But as minute 4, minute 5 began to get in there, time, it's amazing, begins to slow down, or I guess speed up. I don't know what it is. But after minute 5, whether you're in prayer for another 5 minutes or for another 10 minutes, it seems pretty short. And if you're someone who's been experienced in praying, you know what I'm talking about. You're there for 10 minutes, you're there for 15 minutes, and you get up and you're thinking, oh, wow, that was short. I thought that it was gonna be much longer. Friend, if you can get past the first few minutes, what you'll find is time kind of feels like it shortens, and you're able to focus even more. And so my first tip is this: spend a little bit longer in prayer, whether it's 10 or 15 minutes. Now maybe you're here and you're like, but Pastor Addison, I've done that and I'm still having trouble focusing. What should I do? Tip number 2 is this: confess your wandering mind to God. Confess your wandering mind to God. What you're doing there is you're actually praying about your distractions. And so you're getting back on track. You're praying again. Maybe you wanted to pray about something, but now you're distracted by work. Pray about that distraction. Use that distraction as fodder for more prayer. So let's say you're praying and you're wanting to pray about maybe your marriage, maybe for your kids, but a project at work just keeps coming into your mind. Take that project and say, Lord, there's a project that keeps coming into my mind, and you know it, I know it. Lord, would you help me with that project, God? I don't know what it is that's bringing it into my mind, but would you guide me through that project? Would you give me wisdom on how to go through it? And now you're praying again, and you're praying about the thing that was distracting you. And so don't be discouraged. Satan might fling a distraction your way, and you just take it and use it as fodder for prayer, and you'll realize that that's actually something that helps your prayer life, that keeps you moving forward. That's tip number 2. Number 3 is this: have a notebook. When you're praying, have a notebook. You say, what's the notebook for? 2 things. First of all, you can have a prayer list on there, and I encourage you to have a list of requests so that when they're answered, you can write the date they're answered and have that there for you. So you have a notebook, number 1, for a list of prayer requests. But number 2, let's say a project keeps coming and you've prayed for it. What you can do is write down that task. Maybe you realize, I got to send this email to this person. Write down that task and set it aside. And now you can continue praying knowing you're not going to forget about that task. It's there. You're now free to keep moving on in your prayer time. And so tip number 3, have a notebook both for your prayer list as well as to write down things that come to mind that can hold you up in your prayer time. Number 4 is this: pray out loud if you need to. Pray out loud. I like to sometimes go on a walk and I'll just talk. I probably look like a crazy dude, walking around, but just talk out loud to the Lord, because when you're talking out loud, you hear it and you can stay focused more on what you're communicating about. Talking out loud is not good in every situation. Obviously, if you are in the middle of service and you just start praying out loud, you're probably going to have some people looking at you. If you're in line at Starbucks and you just start talking to God out loud, you're probably going to have some people looking at you. But there are times when praying out loud is very helpful. Maybe you're all by yourself, you're in your room. Praying out loud can help you focus. And so give it a try, praying out loud. Number 5 is this: stay encouraged and stay faithful. You say, wait, that's a tip for on how to stay focused? It is, and this is why. Some people, they pray and they get so distracted, and it's maybe 10 minutes, maybe they even pray for 30 minutes, and they feel the whole time was just rabbit trails and they never really got to focus. I want to encourage you to stay encouraged. Friend, how many people pray for 30 minutes a day? It's not many. And so that's an encouraging thing. And God's looking down, and I promise you this, He's happy that you are wanting to be with Him. Although you're prone to wander, and your mind is definitely prone to wander, He sees that you are wanting to be with Him, and this is what He's doing. He's going to help you along. He's going to continue to grow you, but you've got to stay faithful. Every day, have that time of prayer. Maybe you're just beginning and you're starting with 10 minutes of prayer, just a quiet time, praying to God. Friend, make sure that during those 10 minutes, you do your best to focus and you use these tips. But at the end of it, if you still feel, man, I was wandering so much, stay encouraged and stay faithful. Pray today, pray tomorrow, pray the next day, and every day you'll get better at praying, because here is the secret. No human being is a perfect prayer. We're all growing. I will continue to grow in my prayer life from today until the day I'm 99 and a half. I don't know how long I'll live, but every single day I'll be growing in my prayer life. But if you don't stay faithful, you won't grow. And if you don't stay faithful, you won't see the rewards of answered prayer. And so, friend, stay encouraged as you pray and stay faithful.